Hello everyone, hey, I appreciate you tuning in. Today we're going to service the generator, the Onan generator that's in our Tiffin motor home. And I actually have a kit here from Cummins that I ordered that's specifically for this unit. Now the reason I want to start doing some of my own service on the generator and the AquaHot is save some money and know that everything is done right. So in this kit though is the Onan OEM oil filter. It also has the, let me put this so you can see it. It also has the fuel filter that we're going to be changing today. It has the air filter here. All right, all that's in there. Then I have 6 quarts of 15W40 Onan Max oil. All right, so I've got 6 quarts of that, and that is everything that's in this kit. Let me show you what I've got to do. Let me remove this panel right here. Okay. All right, so here's the oil filter, of course, that I'm going to be changing here in just a few minutes. Right there, see that brass line right there? That is the fuel filter that we're going to change. My air filter is right there. Let's see if I can get that. See that round knob right there? There's my air filter. However, this is obviously in the way, right? So what I've got to do is remove that. Now these lines right here move away pretty easily. You can see they just get them out of the way, right, when I'm ready to do this. So this come out, and then there's 2 bolts, or 3 bolts. These bolts right here, 1, 2, and 3, will help me remove this reservoir, because this, again, it's right in the way. I can't get to the air filter, so I've got to remove that, change the air filter, change the fuel filter, and then clean the spark arrestor. Now the spark arrestor is going to be over here where the exhaust is, which means I need to remove all of these bolts and take this top off so I can get to that spark arrestor. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is make sure that all the power is turned off to the generator. So turn off the breaker switch. There's no power coming to the unit from the RV whatsoever. Okay, so now let's get to work on this top panel. So there's actually 4 bolts back here in the back. 1, 2, 3, and 4, all right? Now let's see if we can just lift this right up. Now the reason I want to remove the spark arrestor, change the air filter and fuel filter now is because the engine is cool. The only thing I want to do with this engine when it's warm is change the oil and oil filter. Okay, now with the top panel removed, I want to show you the spark arrestor. You see that bolt right there where my light is? That bolt is about, I think it's 18 millimeter. I'm going to remove that, clean it. Then when we fire it up, it would blow out any soot that's in there. And back here is going to be the belt. You see that belt right? Can y'all see the belt? I'm going to inspect that belt for tightness and for any cracks and stuff. So we'll be doing that in just a minute here. All right, I'm having a very hard time getting that spark arrestor out. So I'm going to put some liquid wrench on there to try to get it to loosen up a little bit, and I'll come back to that in just a minute. Yeah, we can see where my socket is. All right, we just got to get that out. There we go. Boy, that thing was a bear to get off. You can see that right there. All right, so we're going to clean that up with a wire brush. Okay, that looks good. All right, got that nice and clean. Tell you what, while I'm here, I'm just going to look around at looking at the hoses here, just to give it a a general inspection. See if you see anything that might look kind of odd. Anything looks pretty good. All right, so now let's get to the air filter. All right, so I want to change this air filter, but I've got to remove this. do here is just Move my hose out of the way. And I'm just going to take the reservoir and move it out of the way. Just wiggle it out. There we go. Okay. Now that I've got the reservoir out of the way, you can see right here is our air filter. Right there it says top, and you just have to pop those hinges there. I'll just take a look at the new one here and see. I think you can see the difference, right? All right, so let's put the new one in. We can check that off. Again, here's the top. Right, so let me just look up in there, make sure everything looks good. Just gonna put the filter back in. And it just fits right over that indentation in there, so that works. And I'm gonna keep this exactly where it was. That's why here's the top. We're gonna put it on just like it came off. Just had to move this hose out of the way so I could get that clamp right here to work properly. And then of course I just clamped the top. So the air filter's done, we got that service. Now we're gonna reinstall the reservoir back to where it goes, and then we're gonna work on the fuel filter. About time for me to get another left glove here. Okay, as I showed you before, this fuel filter is held on with that bracket, and that bracket is attached by those two 10mm screws right there. So I've already dropped one. I see it back there. I'll be able to get it, but I want to make sure I don't drop those. So we've got to remove those two brackets, I'm sorry, those two screws, and then remove the fuel filter. So let's try that. Alright, we got it. But that rascal was tough. I'm not sure how I'm going to get it back in. Alright, now let's see if we can get the fuel filter out here. Just move. Yeah, if I can just get it out, we'll go from there. Just trying to be careful here, not get in a hurry. Tear something up. There we go. Good. Okay, now that we have it out, I just want to remove this bracket, and that bracket bolt right there is a 1/2 inch. All right. Now the small fuel line right here is a 11mm. And these brass fittings shouldn't be too hard to get off. Now I do anticipate fuel coming out of this, so I do have a catch bucket here. See my little catch bucket? You see some already starting to come out. Don't know how much. We'll find out here. See it draining there? You know, I actually got some hose clamps. I should have used that. All right. Now again, the big brass bolt here is a 5/8. Yeah, very little came out of it. Okay, there's the old one. It still has some fuel in it. You can see the different size of screws, bolts that are on here, so you can't really put it on wrong. Now let me show you the new one here. Here's our new one. Okay, so let's get the hose back on now. Stop some of this leaking. Yeah, it's gonna suck. Next time I'll just take the hose off. I'm gonna get some water and clean all that up. Just snug it up. I'm not gonna over tighten it because it wasn't very tight to begin with. There we go. Let's snug this up. Okay, now that we got everything secure, let's see if we can get it back in. Man, it's tight. There we go. Now we just got to bolt that back into place, which is going to be a lot easier said than done. So let me get started here. All right, so what I did is I just got my fingers down here and got that bolt started on the bracket. So now I can tighten it up and then I'll work on the bottom. Now we'll tell you with this new fuel filter, if you install one, I'm not going to panic if the generator doesn't start right away, because it's got to reprime that fuel filter. So I'm not going to panic if it doesn't fire right away. Okay, I want to show you that I was able to get that second screw at the bottom of the bracket. It was tricky, but I was able to get it. All right, now that we got everything ready to go, we're going to run it for a few minutes. But before I do that, I got a button. At least lay the cover back on top, close it in, because in this cabinet is actually where the air is sucked in from the fan and it circulates. Believe it or not, experts tell me that if you don't keep this thing covered up and the panel's on, the generator will actually overheat. So it stays cooler when you have all the panels obviously together. So that's what we're going to do now. Just lay the panels here, put the one on the side, get everything nice and warm. Oh, you know what though? I do want to put this here to cover those hoses that are exposed. Let me just do that right quick. I'm just going to sit this down here just to help protect those hoses. Yeah. The batteries are on. Let's flip the power to the generator. Now let's just run it for about a few minutes, but I'm going to put it under load as well. Remember, it may take a few minutes for it to prime, or a little bit longer to prime, not a few minutes. All right, so I just cut off, and that's normal as well. So don't panic if that begins to happen. Now now I'm here inside the coach. We want to put this generator under load, so I'm going to turn on all 3 ACs. Doesn't want to do it with this glove on. Right. Okay, so we're going to let it run under load for about 5, maybe 10 minutes, get it nice and warm. Then we're going to change the oil. Okay, let's come and turn off the load. I've had 3 air conditioners going and a few other things, but let's turn all that off now. Now, just turn off all the power. Generator just went to low idle, but I'm gonna let it cool down just a little bit. All right, let's look for some soot now, see what happened here. All right, so everything's hot in here, so I'm gonna be very careful. See some of the soot that came out right there. All right, so after all that, after this cools down, I'll insert the spark arrestor, but for now we're going to change the oil. So this is a 22 millimeter drain plug. Let me tell you, it was a bear to break loose, so be ready for it. Be ready. I did break it loose prior to this. Man, that thing was really in there, so just be ready to do battle. And once I get this going, I'm going to open up the oil fill. Here we go. Good, no spill. All right, what I didn't do quick enough was just open up my oil fill so it could get air in there. It would have drained a lot smoother. All right, now put the drain plug back in. Then I'm gonna get to the filter. All right, take my oil filter wrench here and just twist it off. So right here. Alright, I'm gonna have to block your view a little bit. Yeah, not much. Yeah. Put this down here in my catch pan, let it drain. Good, I think we got it all. I'm just going to clean up the housing here where the new oil filter would go. Make sure that, yeah, there's no gasket stuck to it. Just want to clean that up nice and get ready for the new one. All right, now I'm just going to take some fresh oil and rub on the gasket here. All right, just give me a good coat of oil on there. I'm not going to pre-fill it because most of it would pour out anyway when I turn it to the side here. So, by the way, I will put all the part numbers down below. If I didn't show them on camera, I will have them all down below. My hand's a little slippery, so I'm just going to hand tighten it. 3/4 of a turn when it hits, okay? Good there. I'm going to write my dates and my hours on that oil filter as well. All right, let's add the oil now. And this 10,000 holds actually 6 quarts, 5.9 quarts is what it holds. This should be 10,000 holds 5.9 quarts, so it's like 6 quarts. I got 5.9 in there. I may go ahead and put 6, but let me just check it here to be safe. I can always add later, right? A lot easier to add than try to remove. Yeah, that's showing full right there. I'm gonna leave it right there. Take an ounce back home with me. There it is. Get 11, 8, 24. All right, I will 356. The engine's cool and the exhaust is cool. You see this spark arrestor that I took out and cleaned? Well, let me tell you, you don't want to drop that into the belly of this generator. The reason is you'll have to disassemble basically the whole side of the top and the generator. And of course, the top's going to be off anyway, but you're going to have to disassemble the side just so you can try to fish it out and find it. And per Cummins, they do not sell this spark arrestor by itself. You'd have to literally purchase the entire exhaust. So make sure that you be careful when you're putting this back in and don't drop it. Okay, got that good and tight. Now we're going to actually run the generator some to make sure there's no leaks before we call it a day. All right, next we're just going to put the panel back on. Okay guys, that's going to do it. Hey, listen, I did everything that I set out to accomplish today, right? I wanted to change the oil, wanted to change the oil filter, wanted to change the fuel filter and the air filter, and lastly, clean that spark arrestor. I will say the next time I service this generator, it will be much easier because there's a lot of nuances that you sort of have to learn as you go when you do it for the first time. Stay tuned for the Aqua Hot service, and by the way, I will be coming back to service the coolant as well. So stay tuned for all that, guys. If you want to see more videos, make sure you click on one of those on the screen. We'll see you there. Until then, be well, stay safe.